Hey everybody, it's Courtney. I am just gonna give me a few minutes here to set up and do all that kind of stuff, and still kind of a couple minutes before 7 o'clock, so I'm going to get everything set up and wait for a few people to join, and we'll get started. I am hoping I put this in the right group, though. Let me see if there's any way to see. All right. Yep, I'm here. Cool. Still kind of a couple minutes before. If you're just joining, we're going to give it a few minutes to get some people in here and let it turn 7 o'clock. I also have a giveaway that was posted last night for the live. It's the picture with my giveaway on it, or with my graphic on it. I still have a couple more minutes. I haven't drawn the winner of that yet, so if you want to head over there really quick and enter, there's a $25 shop credit giveaway. If you don't want to, we have a ton of prizes to give away tonight. If you've never been to one of my PBC lives, seriously, you did not miss me. Hi, Trace. Yes, cool. I'm excited to teach you. I love doing this live on the Sunday night of PBC because it kind of like grounds me, and you guys have had a chance to look through everything, and stencils aren't something people typically always know how to use. So I love it, like, to kind of give us a minute to talk about PBC and all the fun things we found, and all that good stuff. So I'm excited. If you have any questions, feel free to answer or ask them whenever. I definitely encourage you guys to ask your questions and chat. And I love this live because it's just kind of a fun, chill hangout. I get to teach you some new things, show you guys about stenciling, which is something I love. Give away a ton of prizes, like I said. I currently have 12 prizes, but if you've ever been to a PBC live of mine before, I like to make sure pretty much anybody that has been around for most of the live gets something, whether it's like free shipping or shop credit or a specific stencil or whatever. So definitely hang around, win a prize, and check out stenciling. So I'm gonna give it a few more minutes just because we're not even at 7 o'clock yet. So like I said, if you want to pop over to that giveaway, you can go ahead and do that. If you're joining, feel free to say hey. This is definitely a live that I encourage you guys to talk. That's going to be one of the ways, well, the only way you'll win a prize. I like to, yep, Trace, you got that. So how I like to do prizes is that I will start. I'm excited to show you. I will, in a couple minutes when I officially start talking about everything, I will post the start here, and then every time you comment, whatever the comment is, if it's just like, hey, if it's a question, if it's just talking about random stuff, you'll be entered into a giveaway, and then I'll kind of just set a certain time, and after that, I'll just scroll back, and whoever my finger lands on will get to pick a number. I have, right now I have 12 prizes. Like I said, if I have to add more, I will add more. I like making sure everybody goes away with something if you've been to most, if not all of my live, especially by the end of it. So, feel free to drop literally any comments. Tell me what you've ordered. Shout out the shops. If you're a shop owner here, make sure you're dropping your shop link. Let everybody know what your percentage is. Share with us what you bought. I haven't done completely all of my shopping yet, so I like to go back through here and find some new stuff. So what have you guys been shopping for? While you guys are telling me, I'm going to go through and one more time kind of run down how the prizes will work tonight. Right now, like I said, I have 12 prizes. They're numbered 1 through 12, and they're mixed in, but what is in there is a $15 shop credit and a Grant-A-Wish, which I will tell you about in a minute, a $10 shop credit, a set of 2 of my oval brushes, which you'll be seeing some of these things in action in a little bit. A set of 3 inking brushes, which it can be any of like either my hollow ones or my regular ones. A set of detailed mini brushes, which I will show you those too, but they're these smaller detail ones. And then a card making kit of your choice, which I'll talk about in a little bit. A standard stencil of your choice plus Grant-A-Wish, free shipping on an order, $25 shop credit, a set of freebies, plus Grant-A-Wish, a 40% off code, which you can use, and then a $10 credit plus Grant-A-Wish. So like I said, if you want a chance to win prizes, as soon as I push start, that'll be the start of like anytime you comment, and no matter how many times you comment, you'll be able to win a prize. So let's actually just start our first one now, so you guys can all say hey. And then I will kind of run down stenciling and my PBC stuff and all of that. So if you have questions on stenciling, if you have questions on the PBC prizes or on the PBC, on my stencils, whatever, you want to talk about planning, you want to talk about junk journaling, anything you want to talk about, just drop it. And yeah, just keep commenting and we will give away all of our prizes. More if there's a lot of people here, less if there's not. Yeah, so, okay. So if you don't know me, if you've never been here, if you didn't see on the PBC Tabitha's live last night, my name's Courtney and I own, design, run the Order of the Planner stencils. Our shop website is ootpstencils.com. Our stencils are 30% off for the sale. We do have a few other things like inking brushes and albums, which are not. Oh no, is it? I hope it's not mine. I usually have to shut my internet off because my Wi-Fi off because my phone internet is better. But if it's me, I will try to turn that back on. So I make stencils and I'm going to show you kind of overnight how I use them in general, how you can use them in your planners and in your bullet journals and in your junk journals and in other things like scrapbooking and card making and other crafts. And I'm going to show you something I've been working on, which is stenciling the edges of books. So if you're a reader and you want to like be able to do a little bit of customization on some of your books, I will show you that. And then just some other crafts you can do. And I'll talk about stencils and all that stuff. So let me kind of show you my PBC stuff and then we will talk in the switch to your phone because it kept going in and out. Ooh, I hope it's not me. We'll give it a little bit and hopefully that will be better. Okay, so like I said, my shop, the stencils are 30% off. We do have some fandom stuff. I released Lilo and Stitch theme stuff, which you'll see in a minute. As well as I've opened my fandom vaults, which is Disney stuff and Harry Potter stuff and Star Wars and Avengers and all that stuff. I typically do that only for PBC, and I will close that vault tonight at midnight. I will extend my PBC sale, so if you want anything else, you don't have to rush as much, but if you want any of the Disney or fandom stuff at all, tonight will be your last chance, and I'll close that at midnight Eastern. So freebies wise, I do still have a few of my first order freebies, which is a massive pack of freebies from a lot of the other PBC shops. I just had one and now I can't find it, but it's got like 15 to 20 sample sheets from a lot of awesome PBC shops that have swapped with me. So if you're one of the next few orders, you will almost definitely get one of those. And then every PBC order is getting a palm tree stencil. I went on vacation right before this, and when I was designing, that's all I had in my head. So the theme of this release was kind of like beachy and oceany and vacation-y. So then every order over $25, which is after discount and before shipping and taxes, we'll get this two-piece little cloud layer stencil. And then orders over 50, we'll get this washi strip of seagulls. And then orders over 75 is going to get this full numbers set font, and then orders over 100 will get the letters to go with it. And of course, like that's stacking. So if you order 75, you'll get all of those tiers. This font is one of my favorites too, actually. This and the other fonts that I released as part of the regular release are like quickly becoming my 2 favorite fonts. If you are not already, before you order, make sure you are subscribing to my email list, because our email subscribers will also be getting this little surfboard freebie. You can do that at the bottom of my website, which is ootpstencils.com. And then that'll be added to your order. So if you're a subscriber at the time of order, you'll get that too. I totally can. If you've seen me do the 2-piece cloud one, like the bigger one, this is actually a smaller version of a bigger stencil that has a lot of different clouds on it. It's the same thing, but I can definitely demo that. So I'll leave that to the side. So that's all the freebies. And then just like Mary Edith did, if you guys have questions about a specific stencil or about stenciling in general, feel free to throw that out. We can talk about them or show you them or anything, okay? So then, like I said, a lot of new releases. I tend to go overboard with new releases, and I went extremely overboard this time. This is like not even half of what I designed for this sale, because like I said, I got in a groove. So there's gonna be another ocean beachy stencil release after PBC too. So let me just kind of do a quick run through, and I'll show you a couple of these that are already in bullet journal layouts, and then we can pick a stencil and do that and all that stuff. So I'm gonna kind of rapid fire. Like I said, I went on vacation right before this, and I was at the beach. And the beach that I go to is actually known as the shark bite capital of the world. So I had to include a shark stencil in this release. Erin, let me show you the layout that I did with it, actually used for last week, I think. And I'm obsessed with it because I liked it when I designed it, but when I used it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than I thought it was going to be. We used that for this one. I actually did this on another live. I typically go live in my shop group, my shop Facebook group, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. This month has been chaotic, but, and I went live Thursday, but that live is also, I think it's up on YouTube already. But yeah, so shark, I do also have a ton of other shark. I have like 4 or 5 other shark stencils that I'm going to release probably right before like Shark Week. So, all right. And then I also have this turtles stencil, which I also really loved how it turned out in a bullet journal layout. And again, you can also do this like in your planner, and I can show you how to kind of incorporate that, or some of the ways that I do, during this live. That is a shark stencil. It's like a shark fin stencil. I do, like I said, I have a bunch of other shark stencils that are going to be coming, probably in a couple weeks. I'll do it like before Shark Week, so you guys can get them before Shark Week. And then bathing suits, and then like a palm/monstera leaf. And then I have a couple of palm tree ones. I, again, designed a ton of palm tree ones. This is the first 2. There'll be more in the next release because I just could not stop, like different vibes of them. And then there's this like nautical-y, like beachy pattern. Like I feel like I just see this on like every pillow when I go to the beach, or like a beach bag or whatever. I just loved it, so I had to do it. And then there's a couple surfing ones. One's like some surfer icons. And then this surfboard one I love and can't wait to use. And then we have the sunshine one. I'm just kind of rapid fire going through some of these. And some waves. I went to a beach just south of Daytona in Florida. It was like the perfect temperature because it wasn't too hot. And I don't like like 100-degree humid scorching weather. Like it was like 80, but the breeze was so... It was so windy that it was like perfect. It was never like super, super obsessively hot. So I loved it. So fruity drinks, like all the like margaritas and, you know, all the good stuff. And I'm in Michigan for like reference. Do I have a sailing one? I do not at the moment, but I like a nautically sailing release is on like the very top of my list. No problem, Trace. Is going to be on the very top of my list, like for a release this summer. So there's corals. Hi, Jen. And one of many pineapple ones coming. And then again, I have a bunch of dolphin ones that are coming in another release, but I had to add at least one because we did a boat one day and saw a ton of dolphins, so I like had to have that. And this is kind of like a beachy icons one. Like, I imagine using this as like in place of like regular icons. So like instead of like a barbell for working out, it would be like swimming. Instead of like hydration, it'd be like a drink, like kind of like the vacation version of that. And then this is another segmented one, just kind of like cool beachy type things. This is a palm like imprint stencil. You saw that on the layout I had open in the very first one. Hi everybody. Thank you. I love the dolphins too. Manatees and dolphins are like my two favorite animals. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'm going to run through these because if I start talking, you're going to see this in a little bit. These two stencils are actually kind of like companions. One is like a pool ripples and one is like an ocean tides. And I actually had somebody on Instagram ask me how to use them. So I'm going to show you these later tonight. When we get to kind of like the, it might actually be me, honestly. Let me try turning on my Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll help a little bit, hopefully. Usually my Wi-Fi does not help. So if it gets worse, let me know. And I can try turning that off. It might be me, honestly. So I'll try that. You use the stencil. I just used them today. I haven't cleaned them off because my ADD has been very, very bad. And if I don't clean them off, if I don't clean them off and leave it in a pile to like clean off later, they'll just end up being like a stack of piles. So I've just been telling myself to just put them away and I can clean them later. So that's what I've been doing. I actually just used these for videos earlier today. And I'll talk about cleaning stencils off and stuff in a little bit too. We have flamingo floats and sunglasses. And then since I went to Florida, this was really one that I made for myself. But there's like a Florida pattern. And like a beach day with surfboards and palm trees and sunglasses. And then this is one I actually used as part of a session I did at the SGS Planner Conference last year. And some people have asked about it, so I thought I'd bring it here so you guys could grab it if you want it. Just kind of a variety of Florida things. And then I couldn't do a Florida one without gators. And this, for whatever reason, this pattern like tickled my brain in the best way. So I had to add that in there. And then this is a small shell pattern. I also have a big one coming out in the next release. And then I was talking about the other font that I love so much. Like, for whatever reason, this font is, again, just like tickles my brain in the right way. So that's the last of the like general stencils. So these stencils will stay in the shop. They will be available past PBC. Next, I'm going to show you our Fandom Hi Kate, our Fandom stencils that are out. But first, I'm going to do the first prize. So we're going to stop the first prize here and then start a new one. And if you are new and haven't heard, I have 12 at least 12 prizes to give out tonight. And how we're going to do that is every time you comment, no matter what you comment, is another entry into our prizes. And I have 12 prizes here. And if I, what I'm going to do is just scroll back and land on somebody's name. And if you're here, you'll be able to win it and pick a number. And there's prizes on here ranging from like shop credits to brushes to free shipping to stencils. And there's also something called Grant a Wish. So if we get to that, I will talk about it. And if not, we will. Erin Fisher, you are our first winner. So if you were here. Do I have custom stencils? I can do them. I don't typically do them around sale time. So like if you're looking for something specific, you're going to have to give me a couple weeks till I get all the PBC sale orders out and then we can talk. So like mid-May, if you want to message me, I can work on something for you. Erin, if you are here, which I hope you still are, I have numbers 1 through 12, and you can just pick one of them, and you will win whatever prize that is. Okay, so let me grab the next set of stencils and talk about my fandom stuff. So every PBC, I like to do a little bit of fandom stuff. It's special for that weekend. And then I put them in the vault and they're like retired. Every once in a while, sometimes during PBC, sometimes not during PBC. Hi, Alyssa. I will bring those out and kind of re-release them all. So like there are a lot, number 7, there are a lot of like Disney stuff, some Star Wars, some Avengers, a bunch of the princesses. I did Lilo and Stitch this time. A lot of like Disney holidays. There's some Harry Potter stuff. I think there's some Wicked stuff in there. So if you're like looking for something fandom, PBC is the only time that, or during a vault opening is the only time to get it. So all these stencils I'm about to show you, plus all the fandom stuff, are special for PBC weekend only. And while I will probably extend my discount code, the fandom stuff will close tonight at 7 p.m. or at midnight. 7. I was looking at the number. They'll close tonight at midnight. So if you want the fandom stuff, definitely make sure you take advantage of that before midnight tonight. Okay, so let's see. I just told him Aaron's prizes, and you get a standard stencil of your choice. So that's one that is like a 5.75. It's only one, not like 2 layers or anything. Any stencil you want. And that's typically like the standard ones are around like 7 something. So you can, or less, like if you want like a smaller one, you can totally do that too. Plus you're going to also be able to grant a wish. And so how wish grants work is that everybody else that's here can drop preferably a link to a stencil that you want, and Aaron will be able to go back and choose one of your guys's to grant that wish as well. So Aaron wins a prize, and then somebody else wins a prize. Aaron, and then this will apply to all the rest of the prizes. If you can message me on Facebook, I will probably get to it. I definitely won't be able to do it after the prize, which stencil you want, number 1. And then, once people start posting some wishes, you can let us know whose wish you want to grant. And then if you can message me what stencil you want, I can get your info and get it to you. I will probably respond to messages in the morning just because this usually goes on a couple hours. I'm like beat after it. So I'm going to write your name down here. And then everybody else, the website is otpstencils.com. You can post a link, and then Aaron, whenever you get a chance, you can grant somebody's wish. And again, that's the same rule apply. A standard, it's usually like $7 or less. It's not a layered stencil. It's not, they're usually like 5.75 by 5.75 type. Okay. All right. So let me run through the Lilo and Stitch stuff, and then we will get to stenciling. So here is all of our Lilo and Stitch stuff, and I'll kind of do this rapid fire. We have the Lilo and Stitch font, which is like a fun Hawaiian-y, beachy font. And then there's 2 of these Lilo and Stitch layered stencils, and how I would use these is I would do like this one in one color and like a lighter color, and then layer this one over it for like a little more detail in the darker color, or the complementary color. And then there is a Stitch heart with some little fun shapes and the different hearts and stuff. And then we also have 4 different character varieties. And they've got a variety of the characters from like, I am drawing a blank on Lilo's sister's name, and David and Scrump and Angel, and of course Stitch surfing, and like some of the other aliens, and Lilo, obviously. So there's 4 different ones of that to choose from. And then there is also, my favorite one is little Stitch with this little ukulele. I'm obsessed with him. I just want to like do every stenciling with him. Okay, so those are the fandom stuff. And then of course, like I said, all of our other previous fandom stuff, I'll pull out my Disney binder and kind of give you a quick. Yeah, I sent some of them, not all of them, for the PBC giveaway. Here's kind of like a flip through of some of the other fandom ones that are there. This is this little peeking mouse one that's like already in a layout for like a bullet journal. And then we've got like Mickey and Minnie heads, and Princess and the Frog, and like some of the park stuff. So those are good for like if you're going on a big Disney vacation. Some of the princesses and like stained glass and holidays and Nightmare Before Christmas, and yeah, just a lot of different variety of stuff. So it's all there. If you want to flip through that, I did link the Fairy Tale, which is the Disney stuff, fandom vaults, in the description here. Okay, so I know some of you said you've never stenciled before, so I'm going to do kind of like a quick basic type thing. And then, Brittany, I have not used, modeling paste. Are you talking about like, I think, oh, I just redid my office. Like a paste like this, like a lunar paste type thing? Or are you talking about like, I don't know why, when you said modeling, I was thinking modeling clay. I have used some of this. This is a little messy, so I tend to not. I've done this on ornaments, and I can't find them for whatever reason. I wanted to pull them out tonight. But I have used acrylic paint, and I can show you that too. Anyway, I will kind of get into like some other things and everything. Yeah, I haven't used a distress paste, just because I just haven't picked it up. But you definitely, I think you could. I don't see a reason why you couldn't, but I can definitely try to grab some. I do have some other things that I have done stenciling on, like an ornament, or this I actually used paint on, but what I did with this was I actually traced out in a pencil and then painted over it with like an acrylic paint. I've also used stencils on like a canvas bag, or this is a really cheap one, so it's why I've got a lot of like running on here, but like, oh, any kind of wood blank you can use them on. So like I said, like the stencils, I do them on ornaments a lot. Again, I don't know why I can't find all of my ornaments that I've made. It's because I just redid my office and then don't know where I put stuff. So, there's a lot of different things you can stencil on. And it's what I really like about it is that, especially right now where like times are tough and, you know, one, it's reusable. You can do it like and use it in different ways. And I'll show you different planners and different things you can use it in. But also like it's something I really love. My nephew, who is 4 or 5, is obsessed with it. He loves stenciling with me, and I can use the same stencils that I use and the same inks with him. So it's a good craft that you could do other things. Like you can make cards, you can, I have stenciled gift bags. Like if there's a theme that's like kind of weird, but I have a stencil. I have taken craft paper and made like wrapping paper for small things, or big things if you want to take a lot of time. And again, I can't find it, but I've actually made like a tea towel and used a different type of ink, but made a tea towel with a stencil, and given it as a gift with like the tea towel and like the cutting board. So they make good like housewarming type gifts. And then I've used the same stencils in my planner, which is really nice, I think. Okay, so let me grab, I know you guys said you like the shark stencil, so let's pull that one out and kind of show you. So I know you probably all have used stencils, but it might have been a really long time. Yeah, like a texture paste. I haven't used one that's not colored, but I don't see why you couldn't use it and like put the stencil on, and then I would probably take like either like an ink or a spray and like, you know, spray over it kind of thing. You definitely could. I think you could. As far as cleaning it off, I would probably clean it off like right away. I'm not sure how far. Have you found anything that won't work with your stencils, like any type of ink or paste? I have not, but I also haven't like stretched my imagination to try to. I will say like that lunar paste that I showed you a minute ago, I needed to clean that off like right away, or it started like gunking up my stencil and it would have taken me a really long time to clean. So anything that's not like easily washable, I would get off right away as much as you could. Just because it's much easier to like clean that kind of stuff. As far as cleaning, if you're using the one that I'm going to suggest for planners is a Tim Holtz Distressed Oxide ink. Both because it's like a little more user-friendly. It's not going to bleed in your planners. It does take a little longer to dry, but it's going to be more spreadable and more blendable. And then I also just think it's like, it's just what it's my comfort zone. There's other stuff you can use. You can use the regular Distressed Oxide or Distressed ink, which is a black case instead of a gray one. But you have to be really careful with it because that can bleed. But yeah, so let me show you kind of the basic stenciling. So we've all kind of probably used stencils. like when we were younger, in elementary school or whatever, but you're usually like holding them down and like for your life holding them down and like tracing, or maybe you've traced your hand, right? And that's kind of the basic way I use stencils. So first of all, whenever I use stencils, I still recommend taking some of your old washi that like I have not, I have rolls of washi from Michael's from when I first started planning. Or, if somebody's like destashing at it, I usually pick up a roll or two of washi. So I have like just some extras, right? Like the washi you're not like super attached to. You don't care if you finish the roll. This is a great way to like use those rolls of washi too. Every time I use a roll of washi, I feel like I have done a little like win in my planner book. Okay, so if you're doing like the trace method, I still recommend washing your stencil down. That way you have, So I see my iPad has frozen. I don't know if I have frozen. So give me 1 second and I'm going to try to get back in here. That is not that one. If you're still here, please let me know if I am frozen. Do you guys see me? I'm gonna give it one more second. Hopefully you guys are still here. Okay, I think I might be here. My iPad now is like a little behind, so I can't tell if I'm still here or I'm gonna actually turn my Wi-Fi back off because I feel like it's slow with it on. Hopefully I'm here. I'm gonna give it one more second. Okay, you can. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna keep going then. Hopefully, if you guys lose me, let me know. All right. I turned my Wi-Fi off, so hopefully that'll help. Because I think that usually is better without it on. Okay, so perfect. I'm gonna actually do prize number 2 now. Since I was like, oh no, we're gonna lose it. I'm moving again. Okay, cool. Yeah, we have a little bit of wind here too, so I'm wondering if it's like that as well. All right. Let me, and also, Erin, I don't know if you had a chance to grant a wish. If you did, let me know. I didn't see it. Trace, you are our next winner. So, if you can pick a number that is 1 through 12, but not number 7. And then also, Erin, when you get a chance, if you can grant a wish. And if you have not dropped a wish that you would like, feel free to keep doing that, because there are at least, I think there's 2 more that have a wish aspect. You got the standard stencil and choice of a wish. So there is 3 more grants of wishes, or 4 more, I'm sorry. So lots of prizes to be had tonight. All right, we're gonna start prize 3 now. And then, okay, so like I was saying, if you're going to trace it, I tend to do it with Brittany. Okay, so Brittany, if you can message me as well with your choice of stencil. I will grant that wish as well. All right. Still waiting on you, Trace, to let me know what your prize is. I know you're here and coming in out. My favorite number is 3. Okay. Your prize is... You are going to get 2 of the oval makeup brushes. I'll show you this when I start doing the inking, but they are these brushes. So you'll get 2 of those. So if you can message me and let me know, I will get that out to you this week. And then I'll show you how I use those and whatnot in a few minutes. Okay, so as far as like the tracing method goes, I tend to use a pencil first. There are still some things I use this method for. Like I said, I traced that terracotta pot that I painted. I like to use a mechanical pencil just because I can, kind of fix any mistakes that I have. I do like to push the point out a little bit so that it has room to go and not hit this little like nib here. And then it's, you know, basic, just kind of tracing. You may need to hold down a little bit, but yeah. And then all you can do from there, and this is why I like to washi on at least 2 sides, because then I can leave one in place to like be able to put it right back and then pick it up and see, okay, cool, that looks good. I can take this off. So that's the basic form, right? How I do most of my stenciling, especially in my planners and in my junk journal and in my reading planner and all that, is that I will use ink. Like I said, my preferred brand and my recommended brand for planners to use in your planners, like if you're going to start building a color like combo, like I have all of the oxide colors that Tim Holtz has. I think Distress Oxide is the best for planners. It's the most versatile. It is a, I'm losing my train of thought, so I have to read the back. It's a hybrid of a dye and a pigment ink. And so, what that is that it doesn't sink into the paper the way a lot of inks do that are dye inks. And that just means it's not going to bleed. And, while it will go on like some very, very thin, like Hobonichi type papers, that's the kind of paper that like literally everything goes on. So, it's not going to bleed because it's going to sit on top of the paper. It will make it like a little longer to dry, but I really don't have much problems with it. Okay. And then I like to use, there's several different tools you can use. There's larger versions of these. They have little foam dots on them that you can use. That's kind of like the OG way I like to say. And then there's makeup brushes. I call them makeup brushes. You can call them inking brushes. And these come in a variety of different sizes. These are kind of my sticks. These are like my standard ones that I take everywhere. Like when I travel, I take these because they're a little more travel friendly. You can also use oval makeup brushes. You can get these like at the Dollar Tree. You can get them on like Amazon type thing. I have these in my shop. These have a variety of different size heads on them. So you can get ones that cover large areas or smaller areas. And like I said, I do also carry these small black detailing brushes, which make like detailing little parts of stencils without having to like washi off an area really easy. I recently got this set of like really big ones. I haven't really used them a ton, but they're kind of interesting to use. There's also really, really big ones that'll cover a nice big amount of area. What I like about these is they're more user-friendly. They don't leave like a weird like cast or anything. And they're really pretty cheap and pretty accessible. So, if you've ever brushed your teeth, if you've ever done your makeup, this is going to be really easy for you, even if it seems intimidating, I promise. So all you're going to do is take your ink and you're going to take your brush and you're just going to kind of like rub it on. I'm not pressing hard. I'm not, like digging in or like putting way too much ink on it because you don't really have to. I'm not like, you know, like for the life of me trying to get as much as I can on. It's a really easy, and then it's really just kind of the same thing. I like to go in circles, but you know, certain areas like I'll do kind of like little strokes on, especially like these little ridges where I want to get in there. The bristles of the brush allow the ink to kind of like get into those small spaces. Oh, thank you, Mary Edith. Where have I got one? The big one I got on Amazon. They have packs of them. If you look on my, in the description of this, at the very bottom, shaving cream brush, at the very bottom I have a thing that says like tools, and there should be a link on Amazon to those big brushes. So again, like I can just go, you know, go through all of these. I could also change to different colors if I wanted. And you'll see when I go a bigger area, you'll see how I can kind of like ombre it and blend some together. And this is a really quick way to cover a page with some cool designs. And then, like I said, you can peel off one of the things of washi and see just kind of how it looks. And if you're like, okay, well, this one needs to be darker, or I miss a spot here, you can put it back in that same spot and just kind of go over it. And, you know, keep going until you're done. And that's why I like to have it in two, because not only does it hold it down so when you're stenciling, you don't have to like hold your hand and hope it doesn't move. Or like if you only have one, like, and you hit it, it's not going to move like that and smear. I like to have two to kind of give it like a good, like base. I do also, if I have like something here that I don't want to get ink on, like I definitely will make sure there's washi tape around that too. So that is like the very basic part. When you had the background of your planner, the full color stencil on top of it. Yeah, all I did was I actually used one of those big color brushes, and I'm going to do something different in a different pattern, and I'll show you how I put that color down. So I'll just put that color down and then put the stencil on top of it. And that's what I did for the shark fins as well. Okay. Does anybody have any like basic questions as far as like the basics of stenciling? Because now I want to pull out my, we'll start with my bullet journal, and it's really applicable about across a bunch of different kinds of planners. And I can pull out different planners too. Does anybody have any questions about like the actual basic stenciling part as I'm pulling like the next part out? Okay, so I'm gonna kind of flip through this to kind of give you an idea. And I do kind of want to also like emphasize, have you ever used colored pencils or crayons? I have used colored pencils. I haven't used regular crayons, but I've used like the distress type crayons. And then use like I've used like watercolor pencils too. What I usually do with that, and there might be a better way to do it, I usually actually just trace and then kind of color it in. But you can definitely use like watercolor pencils and all that type thing. Okay. So I do kind of want to like emphasize that like just because you're using a stencil doesn't mean that you don't have to necessarily like use stickers. I started to get into stenciling because I was on a really tight budget, and I would buy these amazing sticker kits and then not use them until like the perfect week. And then inevitably, whenever I laid them down, I would get sick or my plans would totally change. And like every time that happened, it was like a little like piece of my anxious little heart like broke. And I just noticed that it wasn't for me like the creativity I really wanted in planning. And it was hard to like, I do use a lot of Tim Holtz products, yeah. It was hard for me to like, being on a tight budget and continually buying these sticker kits to like look up to like all these like great social media posts, you know. It was hard for me. And so when I started stenciling, it allowed me to start using sticker kits and spreading them out a little bit more, but also like have my own spin on things. So I did kind of show you some of my spreads that have sticker kits and like other stencil or other planner products from some of the shops that are in PBC this round. So starting just with some washi. I have like my stenciling around here, but then I also have like some Simply Gilded washi. And then this is one of the shops that I love, Sugar Pop Fizz. She's in the sale. We did a joint, like she released this, we did like a joint collab on this. So this is like a Lucky Charms type stencil in the background, and then her stickers that coordinated with it. And then this is another Simply Gilded spread with some of the Simply Gilded stickers and the washi. And then the birthday stickers are also from a PBC shop, which is the Sticker Party, Erica. And then also these two. This one is from Nerds the Word sticker. And this one is from River and Ink as well. I do not actually have any beer ones. I don't know why. That's a great question. The champagne bottle was like a New Year's one. This is another Sugar Pop Fizz sticker kit. So what I like to do is when I'm choosing sticker kits, now I don't have to necessarily buy like a specific size. I can kind of get mix and match. Like maybe it's a journaling kit. Maybe it's like a page here and a page there. Maybe it's the full kit, and then I can stretch it out over several weeks. This is another Sugar Pop Fizz one that I use with some mermaid scale stencils. And then this was for one of the Eras Tour shows I went to. This kit was from River and Ink, which is also in the sale. Wearing pattern stencils to get the layered look. Yes, exactly. And that was one of the things I was going to tell you guys. I've got into junk journaling this year. And if you ever junk journaled, you know that it gets really, really bulky really fast, especially if you start using like patterns in the background. So that's what I like to use stencils for, is that like background pattern, and then put the junk. And then another Sugar Pop Fizz kit here. And then this one is from Nerds the Word Sticker Company, which again is in PBC. This one is from Sticker Party. I think this kit is still in her shop. Eric and I went to an Eras Tour date together, so like, hey, thank you. Thank you so much. This is another Sugar Pop Fizz. And then this is another Sticker Party, and I think it's in my other one. I was just about to say this is a Lily's Little Covered one, but it's in the wrong journal. I know I bookmarked that one too. This is one from Caffeine Queens, and this is actually an example of I ordered one kit, and I actually ended up using it over 2 weeks. I ordered this for the release of the Tortured Poets Department last year from Taylor Swift. And I actually used this kit over 2 weeks along with like some of my stencils. So it's just a way to like kind of stretch your sticker budget, put some creativity, allow you a little more flexibility. And you don't even have to do this in a bullet journal. You can do this in your planner too, like as long as you're a little more like willing to like maybe not just be like inside boxes. You know what I mean? Another Sticker Party kit, another Simply Gilded, and then this one is from Caffeine Queens. And then this one, and this one is Kate's shop, Lily's Little Cupboard. If you want to drop your link, like feel free to drop your link too. And if there's any other shop owners in here, please drop your links. You know, people love to buy all of your stuff because it's all amazing. So pop them in here. Okay, so I am going to pull out, actually will show you my junk journal now to kind of show you ways that I use that like for the background. So like here for my the background of my junk journal, I instead of like using like a fireworks paper, I could use stencils. And I use like the roses here. No, you made the kit better. I just like, you know, threw some stencils there too. So some of our bookish stencils, and I just like to use them like for the backgrounds of stuff. And this is kind of like a junk journal / like memory keeper for me. These stickers I think are all from Lauren Phelps Designs. And I use our snowflakes in the background. And I just use like some patterns to kind of like helps ground the stickers for sure. I totally agree. Yeah, I think it's just like, I personally like gravitate more towards like a creative. And when I was just trying to do like the like really rigid, like this is a sticker box, it goes here, this is where my headline goes, like it just wasn't my style. I'm actually going to add prize. We're going to pull a prize here, prize 3, start 4, and I'm going to pull another prize. Am I... Okay, I'm up to date. Okay, good. Alyssa, are you still here? If you're still here, you are our next winner, and you can choose 1 through 12, but not 3 or 7. So this is my junk journal. It's kind of like a junk journal / like scrapbook / memory keeper. One of my things this year is I really wanted to use what I have, and start using my washi and my stickers and my notebooks that I ported. So I started doing this, and it's kind of a bridge between like memory keeping and a journal. And yeah, so this is all my junk journal, and I've just been using, this is my little new niece. I've been using my stencils in the background for these. Number 6. This is, I went to an outdoor game in the stadium with my favorite hockey team playing in my college's stadium, which was so cool. This is an Archer and Olive A5. It's just a dot grid. That's what I also use for my bullet journals as well. So, yeah, it's definitely less bulky, because like I'm still using junk, even solid cardstock. Yeah, exactly. Alyssa, you said 6. Let me pull that out. I actually went to a junk journal night at a bookstore and was able to get a couple of these like bookish ones done. So I'm still using like receipts and bookmarks and stuff in here, but then I just use the stencils to like lessen that like bulk. Number 6. Okay. Alyssa, you have won an ink brush set. So it'll be a set of 3 brushes. And then you also get to grant a wish. So if you guys want to keep dropping, there's 2 L's in your name. If you guys want to keep dropping what stencils you would like, Alyssa will get to grant a wish this time. Let me see, that was number 6. And that was the 3 inking brushes. Back in the day, even, yeah. Okay, so let me flip through the last couple pages of this. This is the only one page that I, like, haven't finished. Because I actually just did this in Florida with my nephew. He got really into it. He's 5 and was super into, like, all of that. So, I'm still using, like, junk, but I'm just using the background patterns and stuff to lessen that, like, I mean, it's still bulky. We're in April, and it's still a chunky girl, but this will definitely help it not be, I don't think I'll have to waste as many pages as, like, I see some of these girls, like, on TikTok that have, like, massive amounts of pattern paper. Okay. So before I pull out my planner, I'm going to show you one more thing that's kind of a new project, and kind of how I was inspired by that pool stencil. I'm obsessed with this book, Allie Hazelwood's Deep End. It's very spicy, so don't read it if you don't like spice, but I just loved the edges, especially on this, and this is actually why I started designing the entire collection, because I started with a stencil like this, based on that. And someone on Instagram earlier asked me to show how I would use it. And this is also how I would use the Tide stencil that I showed you guys earlier. I've only did one side of each page because I figured we could do the second side now. So these are those 2 pages. I'm going to show that in a planner, and then I'll show you my other project in a minute. So let me grab... We'll start with the pool one, I think, because that's going to be a little bit easier. So I already have 1 page of it. The thing that I like to use in my bullet journal, because I have to, like, make my space to plan instead of, like, a planner where you already have it kind of delineated. We have these things called anti-stencils in our shop. We have a small and a medium, which are just sets of boxes that you can kind of move around. And then I have a large one, which is just, like, 1 box. So what I like to do is place that down kind of in a, you know, you kind of saw in my journal that it is kind of like, I tend to have it in the same place just because that's my, like, pattern. But you definitely don't have to. You could move it around. You could do different things with it. So I placed that down to kind of block that white area out. If you don't have one of these, you could definitely use, it was you. You could definitely use, like, sticky notes or a piece of paper kind of washing down. Thank you, Kate. Thanks for being here. Drop your shop link, by the way, too. Kate's shop I've, like, loved since I started planning. So, definitely need to drop that in there. Okay. Let's grab the pool. And I also did, like, a quick video of this on, Instagram in reply to Joanne's comment. No problem. You can also just, like, choose somebody and they can grant a wish. I don't want to put this on the wrong side. I think this is the right side. Okay. So how I do this one is, I started with, I hope I grabbed the same colors now. I can't remember exactly which colors I used. I think I used the peacock feather for the bottom, and I want to say I used, I actually think I used the lagoon, the same blue as I used. Maybe not. Maybe it was the Mermaid Lagoon? Okay, this might look a little different color-wise, but we're going to try these two. So, what I did was I took the lighter color, and that color that you want, like, this part of, like the crack for lack of a better term, and I took one of my big brushes. You could also do this with a regular oval brush or a smaller one. It's just going to take a little bit more time. I also usually will take a scrap piece of paper and put it under. This is my, like, practice journal. So I just kind of do whatever in here. And do this to, like, protect the pages under it. Because you can see I did an orange one before this and it kind of got here. So all I'll do is just take this, and I would actually also cover this page too, so it's not gonna like run over it, but again. And since this is like a pool, if you've ever been by a pool, you'll know that like the texture is not uniform. You got like some different like ripples, and you'll have some light from the sun in certain areas and shadows and whatever. So because of that, and because I'm gonna like kind of go over this anyway, I'm not gonna be super like trying to get it to be an even texture. I don't think this is the same color. So these colors might look a little different, but use the square Tim Holtz blending tools. I've never used the square one. Are they like the dauber type that have like the little pads on them? I feel like that would be so hard. No problem. I think Trace, you won that. So, this ink that I'm using right now is Peacock Feather, but I suspect that I actually used the Salvage Patina on this side, so it might be a little different. I think the colors are going to look a little different, but I should have written them down earlier. But this is still a good color, so we're gonna roll with it. It's not super even. There are some kind of blotchy, and that's because I just did this really quick. Because again, it's a pool. Like there's little specks of white here and there. There's this and that. Oh, okay. I've never used the rectangle ones. The makeup brushes are, I think, much easier to use. Okay, so we're gonna use that color. So now what I'm gonna do is take my stencil. Do the cracks have to be lighter color? If you're using Distressed Oxide, I don't think so. But I think it's gonna look better. You know what I mean? I can try the opposite after I do this, and see how it turns out. So again, I'm gonna take this and kind of center it where I want it. And now I'm gonna washi it down. Because I have the top overhanging, I'm gonna take some washi on the side here. And I definitely want to cover this white area because water shifts. Yeah, exactly. That's a good term for it. Because I was like, it ripples and there's different colors. In my video I did for Joanne earlier, I forgot that I was going to do it. So it took me a lot like later to do it than I was planning on. And I was like panicking and like, the water changes colors. So now I'm just going to take the blue color or whatever color you choose for the second color. And this would also look really cool if you did like a molten like lava-y thing. Like you did orange on the bottom and did like black, like whatever colors of that on top of it, I think. I was just thinking about that. My nephew went through a phase where he was like super into the floor as lava. And this would have been awesome for that too. You just want whatever color you want, like the cracks, for lack of a better term, to be, is the color you want to do on the bottom. But we will try in a minute and see how like a darker color under a lighter one looks. Crack pistachio and vintage photo. For the longest time, when I was like really deep into like, when I first started designing these stencils, they were all Harry Potter themed. And so like my go-to was tea dye and then the maroon color, the aged mahogany. And that's like, I would make so many Marauders maps out of that. Like, I've actually replaced a tea dye pad because I use so much of it. And again, I'm not going to be super rigid on where I put this. And like to make sure like there's some areas where it's a little, you can kind of see some of the teal through. Actually, this might be the same color. Miss your pool. I'm missing the pool in Florida. I can't wait to open ours, but we won't open it for another, at least till like May, just because it's still cold in Michigan. All right, so I'm going to take this and kind of go over that line. And then I am still going to cover this side. And this is both to hold it down and to kind of like prevent the extra ink on this side of it. I miss reading by the pool right now. I like had all these designed and ready and like pretty much everything to go before I went on vacation. And I was like, it was good because it was like getting me excited for it. But now that I'm back, I'm like, this is just kind of rubbing it in that I'm not there anymore and I don't get to use a pool for another month and a half at least. Thank you, Michigan. Okay. So Trace, you can just send me, I think you picked, Alyssa, you picked her, right? Or, sorry, I don't know, Trace. You picked Trace. You can, just message me. Again, if you win tonight, if you can send me a message during or after this live, I will get back to you probably tomorrow just because this live usually takes a little bit and all that. The heat has melted. Oh no, that stinks. Okay, so then what I did on this side that you can do to kind of like add it in is I took a white gel pen and you can just kind of like trace like little like flecks of light along, just kind of randomly, you know, again, if you've been to like pool or like any kind of water like that, you know, there's like random areas where the light will kind of pick up on, maybe shine off of, and you can just kind of do that. And then the last thing I usually do before I picked up this that I didn't do on the one on YouTube or on Instagram is I will trace around. If I'm doing this for like a bullet journal, I'll usually trace around with a color. That's why I like to washi it down, because you're like not holding it. It just makes it easier. And then I think the brushes also make the seams like a little bit crisper. They allow you to kind of get deeper into the little like cracks of stuff. And then from here, all I'll do is like take a ruler and make a line here, make a line, and have my like, it's divided into 8, so I'll use like 7 days plus a to-do list. You could do 6 days and do like one big weekend one or whatever. Just kind of depending on what you're doing. So that's how I'd finish off that page. And then I know Joanne had a question about the same thing, but with the Ocean Tide stencil. This one is a little bit different. I don't do anything in the background. The first time I used it, I actually put some sand down first. But what I found out is that it looks better if you do it second. So what I did was I kind of lined up where I wanted the waves to kind of break. So this is kind of the same, like, not a pool, but like if you're in the, like you've been to the beach and you've seen like a tide, especially when you're like in a salt ocean, or an ocean, a salt ocean, an ocean and not a pool, or yeah, an ocean and not a lake. Is that 2 stencils? This is 1 stencil. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean. Is that 2 stencils? This is 1. This is the, anti-stencil. This is a separate stencil than this. These are 2 separate stencils. So there's the pool stencil, the pool ripples, I think I called it. And then this is the Ocean Tide stencil. They're both in the new releases. But yes, they are 2 different stencils. Nice white square. I do that all the time. I'm the worst with that. If you've never used, Brittany, Tombow makes a sand eraser. And it's really great. What it does is it's like a sander. It will take away like the top layer of your paper. The sand is not. No, I'll show you what I did for that in a second. When I kind of do this whole thing. It's actually not a stencil. Let me show you the whole process of this, and maybe that'll answer your question. So, like I said, I left the sand empty there. And I'm just going to take my washi all the way around it. It's definitely much easier than you think. I know it sounds like, oh, you know, you do it. So you, when I first started and I first started learning and watching like videos and stuff, I was like, oh, I can't do this. But I was like, wait a second. This is not hard, actually. So it's really fun. So what I'll do is same thing. I'm going to use a bigger brush this time. For no reason other than I'm just covering more area. And I kind of want to do it faster. I think I left a little bit of a edge here on the end of the page. I'm gonna probably not fix that just because I have a lot of other stuff I want to show you guys. So I would go back and just kind of move my stencil and use it. Same with here. There's a little bit of an edge here. All I would do is just kind of move my stencil and let it kind of fill in the cracks there. Seashell stickers. Oh, that's a great idea too. Oh, little seashells. That would be so cute. Oh my gosh. That's a great idea. I'm going to have to see if I have any like random... Oh. This is why you don't use washi you've already used. Since this is my practice one, I don't mind, but I will show you in a second. Actually, I will kind of just fix this a little bit. Again, I can kind of like change this by just going through here, but I'm not going to do it just because I don't have time. You place your finger. I do this. Okay, so sand eraser. You can see I used some washi that had ink on it because I didn't, you know, I'm being lazy here and I haven't washed this off or anything. You want to be careful how hard you do this. You want to kind of go like a little bit at a time because you don't, if you like keep going the same space, you can rub through your paper. But these are seriously game changers. I've actually like stamped down a piece of a calendar and realized that it was like the wrong configuration for the month. And it took a long time, but it actually worked out where I actually got it. I reuse washi all the time. This is one of the first times this has happened. Thankfully, like I said, this is my practice notebook that I'm not like, this isn't my bullet journal. I would have cried if it was my bullet journal. And then I probably would have just put washi down, to be honest. Find some beach. I'm not going to go too crazy. If I kept going, I could get this almost gone. But these are also linked in my Amazon tools link. I will say one thing, if you're like really stringent with using your dots, you can actually rub your dots off. So you have to be very careful how much you use this. Yeah, nobody's going to know. What's the eraser made of? I'm going to just say sand. I have no idea. It's all in not an Arabic font. Arabic? That's what they're made in Japan, so I'm assuming that's Japanese. They're Tombow Mono sand erasers. I don't know what the difference between these two are. This is for ink sand eraser. I don't know if it's like a different grade of, like they're almost like sandpaper in an eraser form. It is. It really is. But like I said, you have to be careful. Like, if you look really close, you can see that's still there. But for me, I just try to get like the big parts of it gone just because it's my planner. And one of the things I've worked really hard on is not being too crazy about, or too like, I don't know what word to use, like too upset when things go wrong, because I always feel like there's a way to fix it. I'll figure out a way to fix it, or I won't. I'll learn to cover it up, right? Like, or I'll find a tool. I'm going back. I actually didn't do what I did on the other side, and if you watch that video on Instagram, you'll know on the other video I actually took some green and went back and kind of did like a, I'll do it up here to kind of show you, to give a little bit of a gradient in the color, because like we said, the water kind of fluxes and changes. So what I did was I took some green and added just little spots here and there. Yeah, it's totally called trusting the process, for sure, 100%. And I'm a big, and then I just took this blue and went right back over it, just again to give it kind of like a gradation color change. So there are that. And then again, like if there's any little seams that you don't like, you can take a white gel pen and kind of like fix it up. Like here's a little bit that got ran over. And this gel pen is not working all of a sudden. So I'm just going to like add this back and just let it look like a border. I can kind of fix this up a little bit. can add this border back. It's kind of like trusting the process. Not just trusting the process, but trusting yourself too. Like, look, I'm a crafter. I can figure it out, right? Like, avoid perfectionism and embrace growth. I like that. That's going to be my new how I say that, because that's the perfect one. It's my planner. It's for me. Like, there's a little bit more pressure for me because I post a lot of this on Instagram and online, and this is, for lack of better words, this is a marketing tool for me, like for you guys to see what I do and show you how to use this. But like at the same time, it's still my planner. And if I have a little ink here and a little ink there, whatever. I like being at least able to show you guys how to use it, right? Now I'm going to take my favorite tea dye, or you can use any other kind of sandy color. And this is one of the other reasons I like using the oxides, because they will layer. So I can actually use this to kind of go over that on this side. And all I did for the sand was just kind of went with the curve of where... Oh, that's so cool. I love that. I would love to take a class with Tim Holtz. That's so cool. Okay. So what I would do is I'm just going to kind of take an inking brush and just kind of go with the flow of where I think this would kind of break. I'm going to just kind of trace it out at first and then going to go back and make it a little, let me move this over so you guys can see. I'm just using this kind of as a guideline because, again, if you've been to like the ocean shore, you know, like as the tide comes in and out, like it just kind of leaves a random pattern. I mean, I think for me, it's helped my like perfectionism, to be able to know that there are tools. Like I can use some ink, I can use some washi to cover something or a sticker. It's helped me get over that like paralyzing feeling of starting either a layout or an entirely new notebook. Knowing that there's like the sand eraser, there's ink that can cover it. I can, you know, if all else fails, I can take a notebook page and glue it over it. Like there's things that you can do, right? And I think for my planning journey, that's been a big help for me to not have to feel like I need to do this. Okay. Let's end here and start a new prize. The sand is tea dye. Anti-stencil, I did not, no. It's all freehand. And then what I did on this side, and again, I'm going to do this quick. If I were doing it like, for my planner, I would probably be a little more intentional about this. But then I just took a white gel pen and kind of like, I want to say just scribbled. I feel like we all have undiagnosed yet peer-reviewed ADHD, or at least I do, and a lot of my friends do. So I just took a white gel pen and just kind of scribbled to give it that like uneven like texture of like an ocean wave that's kind of broke and is there like kind of just lingering on the sand. And you can kind of do the same thing and make little ripple patterns too. Because again, if you've been to like a shore, you know that that's kind of how it happens. But yeah, so I did that for the tide, or for the sand, I mean. And again, the idea of putting shells on here is brilliant. I love that idea. I really hope somebody does that and posts it. Okay, so I'll pull that back, and there's my planner area. Minus their washi. But yeah, let me do a Mary Edith. You are our next winner. Yeah. You can choose 1 through 12, but not 3, 6, or 7. While I do that, I'm going to pull off my next little project that I'm going to show you guys. This is something that, it's not going to be like the main direction of my business, but it's going to be a little bit of, I'm going to do some stencils that are focused on this, and like, I'm going to do some stencils that are like for this. So like I said, this was the inspiration of this entire collection. I started doing, oh no, my phone is saying it's not charging, I guess. Hang on one second, it is charging. I think it's just, Okay. Number 8. If my phone dies, I will be back as soon as possible, just FYI. Mary, Edith, your prize is a $10 shop credit. Yay. Okay. Let me... So we have number 8 down. All right. So like I said, this is kind of the inspiration of this book, and the stenciled edges that I fell in love with were the inspiration of the pool stencil. And so that got me thinking, could I stencil the edges of books? And I've tried one time, and it turned out really great. It looks wonderful. I love how it came out. My only problem is I did it upside down. But it still is a great, like, it came out great. Like, I love how it looks. I just did it upside down. But it's still really cool. So this was an ARC. It was a book that was passed along to me, and I was given permission to play with it. So it's special to me. So I thought this was really fun. Something you could do to personalize, like, your own books if you're a reader that, like, especially if you're somebody that's, like, distressing or, like, rebinding stuff. So I thought it'd be fun to play around with that same stencil. This is a different book. I will say for this one, though, I think regular distress inks are going to be a little bit better. Just as far as, like, it can sink into the paper more and it'll dry faster. Basically, the reasons that I don't use it for planners is the same reason that I think it's better for stenciling edges. So I'm going to try to match these colors the best I can. I'm not going to have, like, exact colors. This is another book that if I screw up a little bit, I screw up a little bit. It is what it is. And I think I'm going to use black, as weird as that sounds, for this. Or maybe like a really dark gray. I don't think I have a really dark gray, though. Where did I get the book press? Amazon. That is not in my storefront, but I can put that in. They have a lot of other varieties. This was just the one that, like, when I got the itch in my head, it was the one that would get to me the fastest. I think I would probably, and it was cheaper. I think I would probably, get one that had a longer one, because I don't really like how it kind of wobbles, and I can't, like, stand it down. But they do also have clamps. This is one of, actually, I almost did the exact same thing and did it the wrong side. Although with the pool one, I don't think there really is going to be a wrong side. With the, let me actually show you, one of the things somebody asked was cleaning them. If you're using the oxides, it's really easy and user-friendly. You can even leave them on for a while and they'll just dry out, and you can almost wipe it off with your finger, which is why I tend to not even clean my stencils. I also do use baby wipes, like at planner meetups, and it's just a really easy little wash. You can use running water, works great. That's, like, my favorite way to clean them. If you've seen Tim Holtz, I think usually, and I don't know, I haven't seen him in a while. I haven't watched a lot of his stuff in a while. This is why I shouldn't have done this. This is why I don't typically do this, but he usually keeps a little thing of water. I use a cake pan, and just will submerge stencils, and just kind of, like, give it a little finger clean. And that works great. And that works awesome with oxides. Not quite as such on, put a heavier book on the left and right. Oh, that's a brilliant idea. I don't know why I never thought of that. Thank you. I don't have my books with me, though, so other than those two, and I don't really want to get ink on them, so I probably won't do that for now, but that's a fantastic idea. So you can clean these stencils off really easy with just some water if you're using the oxides. The regular ink, again, I just want to get it off as fast as possible. But like with like stamp pads or stamps and stuff, if it stains the stencil, as long as it's not coming off, it's just a cosmetic thing. It won't ruin, you know, or anything. So you can keep it on there. It just might stain it. As long as you're cool with it staining it, you can kind of do whatever you want. Okay, so let me grab a ink brush. I'm gonna use a bigger ink brush just because I want to kind of cover this area a little faster. But when I did this with the other ones, I actually used the daubers. So all I'm doing is kind of laying down that base color. And I didn't actually try to do a full color on a page yet. So this might take a minute to get like a good deep color that I want. So while we're doing that, does anybody have any other like stenciling or planners with stencil questions that we can talk about and I can show you some more of later while we're doing this? And while I'm mentioning this too, if you're enjoying this and you like hanging out, even if you just kind of like watching this and you have no intention to try planners or try stenciling, but like you're enjoying hanging out, every Tuesday, most Tuesdays, but my regular date is Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, in my Facebook group, which is the Order of the Planner Stencils. I go live like this. I don't give as many prizes. I typically don't give prizes out, but I usually will just be planning in my planner. It's how I keep up with my planner. It's how I make sure that I have my planner done for the week. And I usually will do like a layout or two. I will be live this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Barring any storms, because I think we're supposed to get really bad storms coming through. So if there's bad storms, I will probably have to delay it a day or two. But my intention is to go live at 8 p.m. this Tuesday in my shop group, like I usually do. So we're going to leave it at that, I think, just because, you know, this is one of the things that I really like doing sessions at planner events. And I've done a couple at the SGS Planner Conference. I've applied for CPC a couple of times. I haven't gotten it yet. And I actually think you sent it through IG. Perfect. Yeah, you can. IG works. I'm going to get back to probably all the messages, honestly, probably tomorrow. Because I have to work tomorrow. And I will probably go to bed pretty soon after this. I just need your address and what prize you won, and if it was a wish, like which one it is. And I will get that out to you as soon as I can this week. All right. So now I am going to also use a big one on this just because I'm lazy right now. And again, because it's pages, you got to kind of both press hard to get that like deep. I don't think I bound this, or not bound it, but this is why I don't like the full page one, because it's like the book is not. It's also harder because like I can't just put it on the edge of my desk because I want you guys to see this. And I don't feel like moving my camera. This probably wasn't the best like book because it's something about something in the water. It's an ARC I was given and I haven't had a chance to read it, but I'm going to play around with it. But yeah, I will answer your messages and get you guys your stuff this week. The only thing I have to really figure out is how to like, I'm going to probably design some stencils that are like better for the shape of books. But the washi doesn't hold great on this wood. So I'm just having to like kind of hold it as well. All right, let me pull this off and show you what we have so far. Did I say I was going to pull a prize? I never did. Or did I pull it? I think I pulled the prize, right? Was Mary Edith the last person to win a prize? Because if so, and has everybody won prizes that's here? If everybody has won a prize, I'm going to start like opening it back up to everybody. If you're here and you haven't won a prize, say hey. And then anyway, so what I was saying is that I've applied for CPC a couple times and haven't gotten. I did a make and take 1 year or 2 years at SGS, and then last year I did a session, and I did a session at another planner conference in Atlanta last year. And so, ooh, I'm missing the side of this. I'm gonna move this over just slightly. Well, this was one of my ideas of like, I think this would be a really fun, I know CPC last year leaned really heavily on like reading and books. And I was like, if they do that again this year, like if I can find a way to like be able to have enough presses for people, I think this would be a really fun class to do or make and take. Like bring your own book and you can stencil the edges of it. That would be really fun. I'm a Make-A-Wish planner kid, not an official winner. Okay. We'll call that not a winner then. Well, no, we'll call it a winner. And if everybody else has had it, then we can open it back up. Because as long as everybody else has won, I don't care. I'm getting these prizes away anyway. So I am going to kind of go over like, not yet. Okay, so Joanne hasn't won yet. If Joanne's the only other one that hasn't won, we're going to let her win the next one and then open it back up. But if there's anybody else that hasn't won, speak up now. All you got to do to enter is just say hi or say hey or whatever you want to say, or tell us your favorite stencil or your favorite sport or your favorite book or whatever. Is anybody else here a reader? I have been on a reading tear this year. And so yesterday was Independent Bookstore Day, and I like went a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie. My boss, before I left for vacation, gave me some cash and was like, have fun on vacation. And I was like, I'm staying with my family. I'm not going to be spending that much money, so I will on Independent Bookstore Day. Okay, so this is the cover, and that's kind of why I chose the colors. Again, I haven't even read this. I have no idea what it's about, but it's called We Don't Swim Here, so I was like, water. Sounds good. And that's the edges now. And I would also do the front, the top, and the bottom, and I will at some point do that. But I just want to do that on here, so I don't have to keep, like, redoing it. I could also, again, like, use maybe a gel pen, but we're going to keep it like that. So I think that was fun. I really love stenciling the edges of books. Like, I think that's awesome. Okay. My, like, next rabbit hole I really want to go down. Actually, I really don't, because I know it'll be expensive, but I really want to learn how to rebind books. And I'm like, if I can rebind books and stencil their edges, it's going to be so fun. Like, I'm going to have the coolest, like, custom set of books ever. Okay. Let me put these away real quick, and then, let's see. It's 8:30, so we've got some time. I don't have to be off at a certain time, but I do have to work in the morning, so gotta keep that into consideration. Is there any stencil? Oh, somebody wanted the clouds, right? I'll pull up the clouds really quick and show you how to do that. All right, let's say, Joanne, you are our next winner. Where's my sheet? You can choose number 1, 2, 4, 5, or 9 through 12. Let's pull our colors back here. And how I do the cloud is kind of the same way that I do the layered stuff. So what I will do is, I'm gonna, since it's so small especially, I'm trying to remember which way it goes. It goes this way. Number 9, okay. I want to be like, is that a Dodgers player? Because you're the one that's a Dodgers fan, right? I feel like it's a famous Dodgers player. All right, number 9. You get to grant a wish and a set of our freebies for this sale. So you can grant a wish to somebody else. And then you will also get a set of freebies. So if you can message me and let me know what your prize was, I will get that to you. All right. Now, so I'm just doing this to hold the stencil down and to kind of like, you know, protect everything around it. So all I do for this is kind of the same way as I do everything. I'm going to pick two colors, like one lighter, one darker. So I'm going to take this Lost Shadow. Yeah. Is that a big Dodgers player? So I'm going to take my lighter color first into the bigger area. Again, I'm not really sure how it'll look opposite, and I can actually do that in a second to see how it'll look flipped, look darker and then lighter. And then I'm going to take this stencil and layer it. You'll see when it lines up. Like, you can very easily tell when it lines up. You get to choose somebody else to get a stencil of their choice as well. So that would be anything that is like a 5.75 by 5.75 one. And they're typically around like 7 something. Why is this not lining up? I had it set up and now it's like not, my brain is not functioning very well right now. This is how it goes. There we go. It was tilted weird. So now I'm just going to take this and washi this one down and then take my darker color and with that other one still down so it kind of blocks out where you're going. I'm just going to pull that up and we have our stencil. I'm going to try to like take this whole thing off together so I can just move it and do the darker than the lighter. All right, well there is that cloud. Now let's try doing a darker and then a lighter. Brittany has made a wish. She hasn't won a regular prize. So if you want to choose somebody else, and then Brittany will be in line for the next prize. So here is our darker base. Stencil on pattern cardstock also as a layer. I've never stenciled on pattern cardstock. I'm gonna have to try that. You mean like one where like the pattern is like raised, or just like pattern in general? So I think because of the oxides, you're going to be able to do this darker on lighter or lighter on darker because they sit on top, but it's definitely not going to be as like impactful. And it actually doesn't look too bad. I will say don't put your finger in it because I think there's a lot of ink on it right now because I have to do a little bit more on it. But yeah, that definitely works. So I'm assuming it would work on the pool one as well. All right, so there's the lighter and the darker. Okay. It's colored pastel, kind of, not white. Okay, let me pull out some of my like other planners and then I can show you. I have a memory journal that I did with every time I go on a trip with my boyfriend. I'm gonna make this like a little memory planner. So I use stenciling like kind of in the background again, like as a pattern here. I just used one Florida and kind of moved that pattern around. This is one of our Disney fandom stencils, if you're a Disney person. This is actually that palm tree stencil, one of the alternating new ones for this one. This is actually a really cool ransom letter font. It's a layered one, but it's really cool and impactful. I like using it. This is that same hockey trip. So we have some hockey stencils. And that's it so far. I think everybody has won a prize, so if you guys want to win a second prize, you are in the running. And then, let's see. This is actually something that PBC asked us to do a freebie. They haven't posted it yet, but I actually I was going to do, like, a little tiny thing, and it merged into, like, oh, hey, Katie! It merged into, like, a trip journal. So, whenever they post it, this is going to be a freebie on the PBC site. But I kind of did, like, a mock-up of it. I only printed on one side because I didn't feel like figuring out all the lining up of pages and stuff. But I did, like, a freebie little insert for a trip planner. And I'm trying to figure out where in here. I did, like, there's, like, an itinerary and a packing list. And I actually even put, like, a reading challenge in here. I went a little crazy. Thought for some pictures. Vacation TBR, reading challenge, like day-by-day recap, and then this is what I did for, like, the backgrounds. So I used kind of the backgrounds for that. So yeah, whenever they post the freebies on their site, this will be available. This whole insert thing. It's my first time ever trying to do something like that. Like I said, it was like a fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing, but I wanted to show you how I use stencils in there. What else we got? This is my reading planner. It is not up to date since my trip now. Let me know. All right. Not finally. This is, so here's kind of some stenciling that's in my reading planner. Oh, for sure. 100%, me too. So this is also kind of like, this would be applicable to, like, your monthlies in your regular planners too. How I use stencils here is I kind of go around the border of it. If I wasn't writing a ton, or if I was using stickers, you could also totally go in this inside area. I just haven't. And then, like, for my weeklies, again, you can put, like, a really light color in the background if you're just going to write over it. You can totally do that. Or you can kind of go around the edges again. There's not a lot of edges on this layout, but you see, like, there's dragons, and I kind of just put stickers over it. Okay, Katie, if you want to message me, what stencil you'd like. And again, so I just kind of use stencils, like, on the edges or in the background in light colors. And again, for kind of the weeks, and just layer stencils kind of as I feel like it. Let's see. I think, yeah. And then I did, like, Easter peeps. The dragons is one of my favorite. This was my birthday week, so I did birthday. And then I haven't updated it since I was on vacation. So I still have a lot to put in here and to do, like, this coming week I have to do. And I have to do May. So I'm falling a little bit behind. I'm a little nervous about that. And then in the back, I did, I used my bookshelf to, like, denote arcs that I'd gotten. And then now, like, I use these for some reading challenges. I get a lot of my reading challenges from Peanut Butter Taco, so there's a lot of these ones are. And I use my stencils in the background. And then this washi is from the Sticker Party, who is in PBC this month, or this round. So my map is, like, for whatever reason, it's, like, one of my most used stencils. I use it in my reading challenge, and I use it to set up, like, a travel thing every year, like, and I use it in the backgrounds of stuff. So yeah, so there's, like, how I use some different stencils. These are the Taylor Swift reading challenges that I made up and the Sticker Party did. This was last year's and this is this year's. So she has those stickers in her shop. Again, she's a PBC shop. I'm not sure if she's gonna be extending, but she's awesome. I love her stuff. She also does the Pop Sugar reading challenge stickers. And she also does my Harry Potter reading group. The Flourish and Blots group does a reading challenge every year. And Erica has been doing our stickers for the last couple of years. So yeah, so there is just how I use stencils in my reading planner. And again, like, you can kind of take that and, like, that's how you can also use it in a lot of other planners too. But yeah. Without doing another layout, does anybody have any other questions? How many more prizes do we have? We've got 3, 4, 5 prizes. Okay, who, Katie Crawford. Who's Katie Crawford? Themselves are a reading challenge. I do have to, I'm a huge Swiftie. I actually have a Taylor Swift shirt on right now. I went a little crazy with the Eras tour. I got super lucky. And my bestie and I, along with some tag-alongs at different sites, like Erica from the Sticker Party was with us for the last place we went to, which was Vancouver, for the last 2 shows. Erica was there. And then some of my other friends along the way, but my best friend and I actually went to 6 shows during the Eras tour, and I got super lucky and I missed we even had number 10, right? I got super lucky and it was wild. I haven't started it yet, but one of my goals for this year, for the same reason of using all my stuff, is to do a bullet journal of Taylor's. I do have this is a stencil that I have. It's to build your own bracelet, to make a thing. I do have finger daubers. I can show you them. They are, I will say, I think they're good for, if I was doing that, the edge of the, book, that would probably be a good place for it. I just don't really like that motion of, and they also, they're kind of okay for this, but they have that rough edge that, the circular, and I'm assuming the square daubers have, where, once you get that, circle, it's, very hard to kind of, you got to do a lot of work to make it not be there. That's kind of the same problem I have with the finger daubers. It's a lot of, harsh line kind of thing, if that makes sense. All right. What else can we talk about? I think other than doing some planning, let's choose another prize. Your fingernails. I don't even have fingernails, and it's still, really weird on my, I get a weird feeling. Okay, I have not given out 9 prizes, and there's 9 people in this live. So if you're here, and you have not won a prize, although I guess I have done wishes, but if you're here and you have not won a prize, I'm going to give you, 2 minutes to, they're not made for big fingers, for sure, and you have nails. If you're here and you haven't won a prize, if you're listening, whatever, say hey. You're going to win a prize right now. Ask a question, say hi, whatever. While we're waiting, let's see what else we've got. Oh, this is a travel journal I've done too. And this was kind of the same, this is a journal I put a lot of pictures in and a lot of ephemera and junk. And I did that same thing of using the stencils in the background. This is from a while ago, so it's a little rough, but I use a lot of the stencils in the background to kind of cut the amount of chunkiness of it. So it was kind of a fun, this was my first, this was actually pretty early on in my shop. When I first started my shop, it was just Harry Potter stuff in my Harry Potter group. I wasn't really advertising it a lot. Main card openers. So this was really when I started really showing people that you could stencil other than just the Harry Potter stencils. So it's kind of I'm looking there, I'm ooh, some of this is a little rough, but it was a lot of fun, and it definitely helped me figure out how to do things that I wanted to do in them. So yeah. Okay, Brittany, you are our next winner. I'm gonna actually just kind of rapid fire give away some of these. You can choose any of these remaining numbers. Am I using them? Yeah, I have a sprocket. And it's actually an old one. And it's actually years ago, probably 5 or 6 years, no, well before COVID. So probably 7 years ago. randomly, I think it was Office Max, had like sprocket printers for like 20 bucks. And they were clearing like a certain model out. I didn't have them near me, but one of my friends was pretty close. And she got it. She went and picked it up for me, and it was like $20, and it was for my birthday. She got it for me for my birthday, but it is open till midnight, correct? Yep. So that's my sprocket. They have newer ones, and they're probably better, but it's such a little workhorse. I've used it for a while. I mean, since definitely at least 2019, so I just printed these out. You should show my Marauders map. Oh, I love the Marauders map. That's a good idea. I will. Number 12. Let me do, just so you could pick number 12. I should have had a 13 now. I kind of feel bad about that. You have won. Ooh, you, Brittany, are going to win a 40% off code. I probably will not set up till tomorrow. So if you want vault stuff, you're going to have to do the 30%. But if you want to make 2 orders, I can combine shipping on them. So you're going to get a 40% off code. And you can use that on as many stencils as you want. It's a one-time code though, so if you want to message me, I can message you the code tomorrow. This is actually earlier than I usually do the PBC Live at 8. So it's usually like 10 o'clock when I'm done, and I'm like, by the time I clean up and like take a couple pictures and do all that, it's so late. And I'm like, oh, it's not actually as late now. Okay, let's see. So now I think everybody has won. Exactly. That is a good prize. If you're gonna like do a lot of damage, it's a great prize. Also, if you guys are not on my email list, definitely make sure you join it before you order, because number one, you're gonna get a better, or not a better prize, you're gonna get a second. Hi, Jennifer. If you have not won, Alyssa, have you won? I can't remember if you've won or not. So if you join the email list before you order, you'll get a extra freebie, which is the little surfboard. And then, let me cross off the 40%. And that was number 12. I know we did number 9. What do we have left? We have 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 11. Yes, and Brittany's, exactly. Okay, so then, definitely make sure you join the email list. Not only that, for when I do sales, I do typically, I'm down, everybody here has already won a prize, so you're going to win one too. Welcome to the live. When does the PBC code end? I'm going to end the PBC code. I typically extend it a few days after. I believe it is set through the 30th, which is Wednesday, because I think I was like, oh, it's the end of the month. Perfect. My 7 or 8 year, I can't remember now. It was 5 and the 6, 7-year shop anniversary is, tomorrow, the next day. So, I just decided to keep the code open. I think it's till the 30th. But it's definitely not till tomorrow. Can you hear me? Can you guys still hear me? It's definitely at least, through tomorrow and Tuesday. However, the vault will close. So Jennifer, if you want to choose 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, or 11, you're going to win a prize too. Let's give away all the prizes. I normally do a layout, an actual full-blown layout. And actually, I mean, I can. The only thing I'm worried about is my phone is down to 10%. And I have it plugged in, but like, oh, here's another Nerds the Word. Does that. This is my current bullet journal. I don't know if I haven't flipped through that yet. Okay, cool. Number 5, let's win you your prize. Your prize is free shipping. So if you're going to order, or if you want to like leave this to later, you'll get free shipping on your order. Or if you've already ordered, I can refund that shipping as well. So just message me and let me know, and I can get you the code for that. All right, that was 5. So we are down to 5 prizes. Okay, we've got a little more time, so if you guys want, I'm going to work on my May monthly on my live on Tuesday. Hopefully the weather cooperates, because apparently there's supposed to be some wild storms throughout the whole country on Tuesday. So as long as there's power and it's not like I have to be in the basement because there's a tornado. Is Arrows considered vault? No. Arrows is not vault, so it will be up. The only things that are vault are the ones that are actually under the vault category. So anything that is in that, even if they're in other sections right now, they will disappear tonight. It's typically, actually, I don't know why I never have put Arrows in the vault. It's just, I'm too much of a Swiftie to not, although I'm a big Disney person too. It's not, Arrows is not vault. So it's like Disney, any of the fandom stuff other than Taylor, apparently, because I guess I never considered it like fandom, even though it is obviously very clearly fandom. Where I am, I'm in Michigan. There's not tornadoes right now, but supposedly like there's a huge like storm coming across the entire country that's supposed to be for Tuesday, and it's supposed to be like in our area on Tuesday. Is it going to be tornadoes? I have no idea. Yeah, it's supposed to be here Tuesday as well, so. In Canada. Okay, so where in Canada are you at? I'm in Metro Detroit, so like, I'm like, well, I haven't tried to go to Canada lately, unfortunately. Canada's my favorite, and it's really sad because I'm like scared to leave the country right now. Okay, I definitely need to replace the washi on this. I'm going to do my next week's. Okay, so you're not super far from me. You're just on the other side of the little peninsula. So yeah, it's supposed to be kind of the same. It's the same storm range. I'm going to use, I'm thinking my May is going to be like flower. Yeah, I have so many thoughts. I'm sorry for all of you guys. I hate it. I love going to Canada. All 3 kids. Oh no, gross. Okay, I'm going to do floral for May, and I'm going to kind of go in this like direction that I really love, but I don't always do. Let's see. Where did my scrap paper go? I think it fell down, so I'll have to grab another one. All right. I think I'm going to do like a floral theme for May. So I'm going to start with this one big flower. I have a few big flower stencils that I really like to do. And they're really fun to kind of like layer with just some different colors. So I like to pick out some like really fun, bright, vibrant colors. So let me pick